Mayor Marianne Meed Ward joins us now with an update on what's happening in Burlington. But let's go back to last week and what happened in Washington.
Yes, so I was there as part of a group of U.S. and Canadian mayors. I was invited in my capacity as chair of Ontario's Big City Mayors. It's part of the Great Lakes Cities Initiative. So all of the states and cities that border the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence go to Washington every year to advocate for the economic and environmental health of the region. If we were a country, we'd be the third largest in the world. It is massive. It is $6 trillion worth of economic activity.
So this region on both sides of the border?
On both sides of the border. So you've got New York, you've got Michigan, et cetera, on the U.S. side. You've got Ontario, Quebec on our side. And so we went down, and of course, right in the middle of all of this is the tariff discussion. And so we met with congressional leaders, senators, the U.S. and Canadian mayors coming together to speak with one voice that 25% tariffs, which have now been imposed, are catastrophic to both sides of the border and specifically this region. So I think that's the power, is that it isn't just Canadians saying it, it's our U.S. counterparts. We met with Republicans, we met with Democrats, and there's a lot of Republicans who actually don't support the tariffs either. So we are trying to advocate and give them extra voice to say, you know, go talk to your fellow colleagues on the floor, talk to the president, you know, use your networks to spread the message that we're all saying is that this is nonsense. It needs to stop. And if there's a desire to reopen a trade deal, there's a way to do that that is appropriate.
And hopefully with the meeting tomorrow, that might make some movement on there. So these are meetings that happen every year regardless, but this is like tariffs right in the middle of it. What was the biggest was it industry? Was it steel? What was
steel was part of it, but it wasn't the only thing, because of course Canada is now imposing counter tariffs, and ours are much more targeted to, as the government says, inflict maximum pain on the U.S. to bring them back to an appropriate negotiating table and do this the right way. And minimum pain for Canadian consumers. But the chaos of announcing, pulling back, delaying, adding new things has already caused a huge impact on both sides of the border. We've seen the stock market tumble. You know, and I know two things about Canadians. We are great partners and allies to the U.S. We're very reasonable people. We want to work together. And if you come after us, we will stand up for ourselves. So we are elbows up. This is what we're going to do. And that was the message that we delivered. And the U.S. mayors were with us as well, really apologizing, many of them, saying thank you so much for coming and still participating and adding your voice, because this is going to hurt us too.
Did you have one clear, solid message that came out of those talks?
That the blanket tariff would be devastating, that they need to stop that, that the health of the region, the $6 trillion economy in this region, needs to be protected, along with obviously the entire country on both sides of the border, and that there's a way to do this, that we are reasonable. Our American counterparts that we met with are reasonable. The Congress people, the mayors, they're saying, you know, we need to actually deal with this like adults instead of this chaos that we're seeing right now.
Is there follow-up meetings planned as a result of this?
So this is an annual event that they do, and
but it's kind of like an emergency situation, almost like everything changing by the hour.
It feels like that. It feels like we're back in COVID, actually, with news changing every day. Of course, I struck a tariff task force. I did that during COVID, bringing stakeholders together. We'll meet again next week to get a read on what this is doing to our local economy. And not just our steel companies. They're the ones that are most immediately impacted, but there are blanket tariffs now, and this will have a ripple effect. If somebody loses their job, if a business closes, all of those people now won't be spending their money at local businesses. So the knock-on effect of this is catastrophic.
Okay, unfortunately, to be continued.
To be continued. Yes. You know what? We'll get through it. I mean, I am hopeful we will get through it. We will stand firm, and we have good people that are leading this. And it's completely unnecessary. But it's going to be painful until everyone comes to their senses.
Okay, Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
We've got much more to come in the next half hour.